He called me nothing more than a security guard. At my own brother's wedding. In front of family, friends, strangers. What he didn't know was that just hours later, every single guest would watch me take down one of the biggest drug cartels in the country, on live television. And suddenly, the man who dismissed me my entire life had nothing left to say. If you've ever been underestimated, disrespected, or treated like your accomplishments don't matter, then you're going to love this story. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because this is one of the most satisfying revenge moments you'll hear today. My name is Rebecca Hayes. I'm 34 years old, and for the past decade, I've worked as a DEA special agent. I've gone undercover with some of the most dangerous people you can imagine. I've put away criminals who thought they were untouchable. I've seen guns pointed in my face. I've lived on stale coffee and adrenaline, and somehow, I've survived it all. But you know what I couldn't survive? My own father's constant disapproval. See, my dad never believed in what I did. To him, I wasn't a hero. I wasn't a protector. I wasn't even respectable. In his eyes, I was just a glorified security guard. That's the phrase he always used. Meanwhile, my brother David? He was the golden child. A lawyer with a shiny office, a fat paycheck, and the kind of career my father bragged about at every barbecue, every Christmas, every single chance he got. So when David's wedding came around, I already knew I wasn't going to be celebrated. I was just going to be tolerated. The reception was beautiful. A candlelit tables, a string quartet, waiters in crisp uniforms serving champagne. And yet, all I could focus on was my father's voice booming across the room. David here, our successful lawyer, he's the pride of this family. And Rebecca, he raised his glass, smirking. Well, she keeps the parking lot safe. Doesn't she? The laughter that followed? It wasn't everyone, but it was enough. Enough to make my chest tighten. Enough to make my hands shake. I forced a smile. I always did. I'd spent years swallowing that same bitter pill. But inside, I was screaming. Every time someone tried to make small talk with me, Dad would swoop in. Oh, don't ask Rebecca about work. She just stands around in a vest, making sure no one steals shopping carts. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was minimizing me, chipping away at me, making sure that even on this day, my brother's day, I stayed in my place. And the worst part? My mother said nothing. My brother said nothing. I was invisible, except when I was the punchline. By the time the band started playing, I was done. I slipped out onto the balcony, staring at the city lights, trying to breathe. Why do I keep letting him do this to me? I thought. Why do I keep shrinking myself down, just so he doesn't get uncomfortable? I clenched the railing until my knuckles turned white. And then fate intervened. Because inside the ballroom, the giant flat-screen TV flickered to life. At first, it was background noise, just the evening news. But then, I heard my name. Breaking tonight, the anchor's voice declared. A major cartel has been taken down in a multi-state operation led by none other than Special Agent Rebecca Hayes of the DEA. The footage rolled. Grainy helicopter shots of armored trucks, handcuffed men being led away, warehouses stacked with bricks of narcotics. And then there I was, on screen, tactical vest, commanding a team, giving orders. Inside the wedding hall, the room went dead silent. I wasn't the invisible daughter anymore. I wasn't the joke. I was the headline. I walked back inside. Every eye turned toward me. The same people who laughed earlier now stared like they'd never seen me before. Some whispered. Others clapped. But the best part? My father's face. He looked like he'd swallowed glass. His glassy-eyed pride for David had been replaced by something else. Realization. And maybe, for the first time in my life, respect. But I wasn't about to let him off easy. He muttered, Rebecca, I didn't realize. I cut him off. My voice steady, louder than I intended. No, Dad. You never realized. You never asked. You never cared. I've spent years risking my life, bringing down criminals, while you reduced me to a mall cop. And the sad part? I didn't need validation from strangers, or even from this room. But I wanted it from you. Just once. and you couldn't give it. The silence was suffocating. My mother dabbed her eyes. My brothers stared at the floor. My father, this proud, stubborn man, finally lowered his head, and he whispered, "I'm sorry." It wasn't dramatic. There was no thunder, no applause. Just a simple apology. But in that moment, it was everything. Because I finally had what I needed, not his approval, but his acknowledgement. And here's the thing, I didn't stay. I didn't let him make it about him. I hugged my brother, congratulated him, and I left. As I walked out into the night, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not because my father finally respected me, but because I finally respected myself enough not to need it anymore. Sometimes revenge doesn't look like screaming or plotting or getting even. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply standing in your truth, letting the world see it, and watching the people who doubted you eat their words. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated only to prove everyone wrong? And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more true stories of justice, karma, and sweet revenge.